There we go. Awesome. Sick. It's fucking working, finally. Alright. Let's click here. Go to 48 seconds. Okay. So, hello. The recording has started. Hi. This is Nugz and Mad. They are gamer friends of mine, and they're going to help me do your gameplay reviews. Say hi.
Hi.
Matt, you're required to say hi. You're required to say hi.
Already.
Let's go. Those are the best ones. All right. Okay. So this is I think this is femboyfox from our server, and he is showing off his improvements with his mouse aim, which I think you guys will probably have some actually really good tips on this in particular, because I know both of you know a lot about mouse aiming and stuff. So compared to me, so all right, so here we go.
Move in and take
he's using like an auto rifle and a fusion.
Okay, so trace heavy, flick heavy, secondary. Trace heavy primary, flick heavy secondary.
Sure.
Enemy claimed zone
All right, so right away there, I noticed it seemed like that just wasn't a good challenge to take.
No, that never really is unless you have a one-shot ability.
Or if you have like significant team presence advantage over the enemy team.
Yeah.
You should have been like, if you wanted to get some peek shot damage in there, like hoping they weren't looking, I wouldn't have peeked this wide, stayed a little bit closer so you could disengage immediately. And if you start taking fire there, you're like super susceptible in this area to grenades. So I would have just like gotten out.
But and also you can tell on the radar that he was the only one pushing his other teammates went to B flag.
Yeah. So unfortunate. I always go immediately to B because I just don't like that challenge from that area. I always go immediately to B on that map.
Yeah, I don't really push that.
Zone B captured. Zone advantage is yours.
Okay, so
he's trying to be too aggressive and try to slide shot everything. He should just pay attention more to his radar, because there was like 2 times where he got caught mid sprint and he had to unsprint.
Something I'm noticing is he's flinging his aim around a lot, almost like he's like trying to like mimic what you see like really fast-paced mouse and keyboard players do, where they just like target swap a whole bunch. What?
They prime their aim, and basically what most people do and like Destiny 2 players heavily do is that it's very robotic but also optimal to just like, you know, do a large flick, but your hand will of course get cramped because it's like depending on if you're a wrist player or an arm player, you're only like you're basically handicapped to how far your wrist or arm movement is.
Yeah.
And the more optimal way to do it is just to do it instantly, but you know, you're hurting your arm or your wrist doing that because, you know, you have to reset it eventually. So what a lot of MNK players do is that they do like they look to the opposite direction of where they're trying to slide. They prime their aim, reset their mouse, and then flick
back home to the home position, kind of.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And that's
flicking away towards the edge of your mouse pad, it's kind of like flicking in the same distance. Yeah.
That's how most people do it, and that's how you see a lot of zigzags. I do it too, but not as much because I've practiced. The whole thing comes from practice and getting comfortable to where your arm/wrist naturally sets and how fast you can reset. It's not a bad thing to pick up your mouse. It's just that when people do it, it's very slow because they're not used to picking up a mouse.
Right.
Yeah. So
especially
on that, right? Like, it's good that you're trying to break the analog mindset of like a speed limit to your movement, but
Yeah, like
You should never
like
feel tension. You should have pressure on your mouse. It shouldn't feel tight. You shouldn't squeeze your hand. You should press on your mouse some.
Mad, you sound a
And
little
you'll
bit
have to master
robotic,
that touch.
by the way. But yeah, so hold on. So the first thing I noticed is it seemed like they were so eager to move fast and play fast, which is what it feels like when you're first playing, on M&K after having learned controller. Is like you're like, I can move fast now. I can just fling my aim around wherever I want. That you feel like you have to be doing that all the time, you know, because that's just not an option to you otherwise. That's the one advantage you have on M&K over controller, is that you can flick instantly, you know. But when you're doing that, you still want to be in full control of everything that your character is both doing, like moving, where they're moving, and where your aim is going as well. And this doesn't seem like controlled movement. It seems kind of like you're just like...
He's also not paying attention to his radar. He didn't need to peek B doors or A doors. He could have just focused on...
Like, you don't have to keep pushing and keep flicking. Like, see that specific, like... It almost looked like panic right there. I don't know if that was hesitation or if that was, like, just flinging your mouse for the sake of flinging it around, you know? Like, you could have just sat there the whole time and just, like, pre-charged, and then when you were done pre-charging, started another pre-charge instead of, like, you don't have to move, you know? So...
Yeah.
Less is more this time.
Yeah.
Auto rifles, they really take advantage of anchoring a lot. Specifically like in a corner or somewhere, like you could have pushed it slow and then be aggressive with the fusion, because you can just pull a fat 180 or like a 90-degree angle turn with the fusion as you're pre-charging it.
This specific loadout is like really good at playing passive and anchoring, and it's really good at playing aggressive, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be aggressive all the time. Like the point of it's got strengths that you have to lean into when you see them, you know.
Well, the radar plays very well. You still have to read the radar. I know people can get a bit short-sighted because they're trying to focus on like M&K only after they, you know, switched, but you can still use whatever you've learned from controller. Like basic game sense should still be there.
Yeah.
Because what matters is the transition from conscious to subconscious decision. Instead of like focusing on where your mouse and hand movement is, you should move more to where your eyes are looking, and that's how hand-eye coordination gets helped with mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Ready to move on?
Yeah. Tactical season check.
Massive misplay here, actually, in terms of optimal strats for winning the game. Taking time to gather bright dust is losing so much downtime.
It is the only way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I kept
Dodging
seeing...
backwards.
What? I'm sorry,
Dodging
you go.
backwards is a lot like driving backwards.
Can you rewind that? Can you rewind that real quick?
Yeah. What were you saying, Matt?
I was saying that like when you dodge backwards, it's like driving backwards. Everything's backwards, so you can't panic and push to the left and move your mouse to the right. Then you'll go the opposite direction you wanted to. You know, so just. I think if you like just think about what motions go where individually, then you should have that problem.
Well, honestly, it looked like, from my perspective, that this just wasn't a good time to try and pull heavy in the first place. Like, that's over here on Divider and the doorway, as well as down by trucks, is a very, very highly contended area in sixes on this map. You're almost guaranteed to have gunfights there, which is why they put power on Divider. So if you wanted to secure power, the play definitely for me would have been to take the gunfight and clear lanes and read radar and see if you have enough time to wait the second and a half to pull power before getting out of there immediately. And it kept looking like you kept realizing that, but then like you'd have like this fracture in your brain where instead of realizing like, oh, I need to not do this thing that was kind of stupid, you kept having the but I need to just finish because I already started, and then you realized that was stupid, and you paused, and then you're like, but I'm already starting, so I need to do it again. Like, you would have actually been able to pull power if you just ran in and grabbed it. That wouldn't have been the right play, but also the fact that you kept hesitating, reevaluating, realizing you were doing something wrong, and then continuing to do it is what caused that play to look so, like, bizarre to me, you know? Like, it looked like panic. I don't know. Yeah, like, if you watch this, like, you hear gunshots right here, and you know that your teammate just fired at someone back here. So you know there's people laning, or not laning, but, like, people able to see you or to engage you at this point. And instead of trying to shoot at them, you, like, look at the wall, you know? And then, I don't know. And then you go back for it again, which is, like, crazy to me.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's less of a, it's more of, I think that choice is just because invis is too strong to the point where people think they can get away with that.
But the play you decided to start making afterwards, where you're like, oh, you post up and start taking fights, that is what I would have done. I wouldn't have double peeked a sniper. That's always bad, especially if that far out of your effective range. The flinch you'll be causing is minimal if you even land your shots at all. But yeah, like posting in this area and just holding down power is the play to make, in my opinion. Good?
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think your reticle's also pointing at the ground a lot. Even when you're sliding around and stuff, you should try to keep where you're starting to aim in from.
Yeah.
I would keep where you're starting to aim in from as close to your target as possible.
Definitely, that's definitely a misstep from controller to MNK, is that what a lot of my friends do when they did transition is I had to tell them to peek at head level because the computer isn't helping them anymore. What most people do is that they circle around the target or usually aim at their feet, and the aim assist plus the recoil and destiny will usually carry it to their head.
Yeah, your reticle was right here when you first peeked this, plus you see the sniper and your health is low. I wouldn't have re-engaged. This is an Emperor, not a Healing Rift. But yeah, I know when I was on controller, something about just the way controller is, it just made it a lot more natural to walk around with your reticle already at head level. But when I moved to M&K, I noticed something about like the way, maybe it's the FOV change or the movement or something, but I find myself wanting to walk around with my reticle towards the ground more on M&K, despite that still having the same disadvantages as it was on controller. So yeah, that's something that you need to actively practice with both aiming methods, is keeping your reticle at head level in comparison to where that you're expecting the enemy to appear from, you know? So, yeah. Cool. Yeah, look, you did 8 damage there, and you're in an Emperor. If that was, like, way outside of your effective range, I would not have tried to re-challenge. Oh, see, you kind of did it again there, but the reason that one was a little bit better is because you were actually doing some good target swapping, aggro swapping with your teammates there, and you got two people down, you know, at least before you moved in and took it, which means like if they get 2 people down, they're more than likely actually retreating. So even though there was still a gunfight happening, they're less likely to be aggro on you. And that was actually a pretty good play I saw you make there, just in general. Like, gunning that guy down, using this pillar as cover, and then aggro swapping with your teammate there. That was a good play, in my opinion.
Now make it rain.
Looks like your sensitivity might be a little high for you.
Yeah. That I'm thinking that too.
Double down.
And that's another thing I really have noticed, especially in Destiny. People who move to M&K prefer way higher sensitivities than they should be on. I did for the longest time. I had
like you still do.
Well, yeah. Well, no,
but
dude,
by like
my
a factor of
sensitivity
10,
was
not just quote unquote fast. You know.
my sensitivity. Yes, yeah, it used to be 5 times as high. I changed it recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Toxic has like 30k EDPI.
I went from 3200 to 1900 in 2 years.
Another clanmate of mine, Colin, has like 64k EDPI. K-Ferns was at like 160 EDP, 160k
Instead of trying to
EDPI.
explain to people where to start, now I say pick a player that you really like and copy their thing and go from there, man.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that'll put
I
you
have
in
a more rudimentary method. If you've ever used
can
a
up
computer
down
at
it.
school, because no one, who hasn't, whatever DPI that factory mouse setting is that you like the cursor, use that.
Yeah,
Test at
but
home what feels
2D
okay to
environment.
use a cursor with.
the
And
the thing
then,
is too in
That's actually right.
Destiny.
You set your DPI that way.
The thing is too in game default sensitivity is 15. The default
Yeah.
sensitivity is 15. So like
Yeah, you don't
most
have to
players are playing at like 2 to 8 with like 800 DPI. If you just set your mouse to factory setting DPI, the in-game sensitivity being 15 is still going to be really high. Like your EDPI
Really
is going to
high.
be really, really high.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend I would definitely recommend finding some players that you like how their playstyle is on MNK, checking out what their in-game sensitivity is, ADS modifier, and their DPI, and mimicking those so you see what you actually have to be doing. Because if you're trying to do what they're doing on their settings with completely different settings that are way outside of their range, you're not gonna... it's almost like a completely different aiming mechanism at that point. It's like trying to learn how to use how to play M&K on controller.
You're learning to play it in a way that's never been done before too. So
Yeah.
you don't have a proof of concept that your
Right.
way is way that can produce results.
Right. So if you wanna be able to do what someone else is doing, with their aim, try using their aim settings or at least something close to it. So, again, we don't know what their DPI is. Maybe they just have a huge ass mouse pad and they're flinging their hand around.
Look at their... It could be, or they could be a wrist player. It's also, you have to take a note what type of player you are.
Well,
Yeah.
you shouldn't just use your wrist, right? You shouldn't just use your arm. You should use a combination.
There's 2 different types of players. That's why. And it doesn't matter what the health benefits are. It's how it feels comfortable to you.
Yeah.
That's what matters, right?
Yeah.
But you also shouldn't use only your wrist. You'll hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But there are players who do that. And
Right.
if that is the case, then you need to look at how you grip your mouse to prevent,
Right.
the thing that no mouse player wants. I forgot what it's called right
Carpal
now.
tunnel.
But
Yeah, any injury
carpal
at
tunnel.
all, really. But you also, if you are
use
too
wrist.
tense, you'll never be precise, right? And that's tension.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter how you play. If you're squeezing it or you feel tight, then you can't be precise.
Yeah.
Well, in a sense, yes. There's like stress tension, and then there's normal, regular tension that you're used to. That's why good players, like I'm coming from like a Counter-Strike perspective. Good players, they still grip the mouse. That's why they're able to lift it off the ground sometimes in
you
order
have to
to
apply pressure. Absolutely.
click.
Yeah.
But the issue is dictating what is normal stress put on the mouse and what is caused by like stressful situations.
Right.
And so as you continue to play, it's all about muscle memory. As you continue to play, you'll see how you are when you're when you're in a calm scenario and when you're stressed and tension.
Mhm.
And naturally, as you play and as you figure out what type of mouse grip you have, what type of aiming mechanic or aiming movement you have, it'll show you like what type of mouses you like. I mean, for the most part, all of the mouses on the market right now that are hot, like the G502, the G Pro, the Model O. Don't get Final Mouse. Final Mouse is like fucking. It's like the equivalent of like Gucci. You don't need it. An expensive brand that I would consider expensive is Extrafy. You can look it up on Amazon. Their most expensive mouse is 120, but it is wireless and it's backed by a guy that I really like. He does a lot of YouTube videos on aiming and specifically in Quake and stuff, and he basically collabed with them to make a mouse. So check out Logitech. Like brands that I would recommend is Logitech, SteelSeries.
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, the only thing that really matters for a mouse is if it fits in your hand well and if it has a fast enough polling rate.
Yeah, well, it can't spin out. If you move your mouse as fast as you can, a foot, and your character doesn't spin, or he stops moving as fast or starts skipping, then your mouse sensor can't pick up that
That's
speed.
true. Yeah, it's got to have speed, like be able to track the speed that you're going to be moving it at. But like, honestly, you can buy a mouse from most places. You know, like the super cheap ones probably aren't going to do very well, but like you can buy almost any mouse and you're probably fine.
$50 mice that function well enough.
Most mices, you can get a Staples mice and it'll do fine because the polling rate is like standard right now. Standard polling rate is pretty high.
I think Best Buy and HyperX work together pretty heavily. They have some like starter gaming mice around $50.
Yeah,
they're pretty solid.
It's turning into a podcast. We need to finish this.
Yeah,
okay,
totally
let's finish. Okay. All right.
Nice
so
dodge.
yeah, incorrect range for the fusion rifle. You should have been using your primary in that instance.
A little bit closer.
No, I wouldn't say get closer because this is a good spot to be standing for that engagement.
Yeah.
But you could have not only killed him faster, even if you had been able to kill him with your charge time weapon. Your auto rifle fire, he was weak. Your auto rifle fires instantly. You would have been able to kill him faster, but you also would have been actually doing full damage instead of half damage. So, that was good swapping. Yeah, there, more aim shake there, which is like what is indicative of people who are trying, in my experience, trying to play faster just for the sake of playing faster, where they shake their aim from side to side. You see there's radar pings back here. I know that video quality isn't super great, but I know you see there's radar pings back there, as well as from here, and you only have this pillar for cover. You can not use this pillar to cover yourself from both sides, so after you get that one kill, I would have dipped immediately. But yeah, this aim shake you had here, like, yeah, you see a radar ping right then, and yeah, that aim shake is just like, it looks like you don't really know what you're doing.
That was a pretty lucky shot. I think you only got that kill because of the recoil on the gun. You did like
yeah.
I see what you're trying to do, though. You're trying to get more comfortable with flicking as you're trying to flick onto a target as you're charging the fusion.
Well, the thing is, a lot of controller players think that MNK players can just actually move faster. So that aim flicking actually comes from them thinking that they can just do that and their character model will like actually zigzag. You know, like he's like, oh, I'm in this area right here, and then they think that they can just flick their aim to the side and then flick it back, and that makes them actually moved over there faster. You know, when that's not really how that works. You know.
Yeah, no, it's well, most people like the benefits for aim and MNK mostly lie in movement abilities like ick dash and dodge, where your body movement is tied to your mouse movement.
Yeah,
and that's where you get all the funky melee desync because they did like 10 360s on you. But for the most part, the issue with MNK when compared to controller players is we definitely have speed, but we have to practice more on our tracing because it is for the most part all of our movement.
And yeah, okay, and then you actually didn't have like too bad of a play here. That was actually very smart to use this cover, like this corner where you're blocking off there and this doorway, to get your health back. However, what I would have done is as soon as my health regen started, I would have made the jump to get behind this pillar and then run away. Maybe snag a single kill if you have time, but not try to set up here. You know, you're not trying to...
No.
This is deep in the enemy spawn. They are behind you, and they know you're here. Get a kill if you have to, but your primary goal should be getting out alive, you know? And so what you do here is you get sniped and spawned on after you try to take that challenge.
You don't always, in that range, I would have hip fired just to keep my radar up.
Yeah.
You almost had your dodge up. If you slid towards the wall, if you hugged the wall, you would have dodged, gotten invis, and probably would have gone under.
Yeah.
That's just bad aim right there.
Yeah, it
he
looks
got
again like your
overwhelmed.
like your aim is shaking. Like
Try
it
to
looks like
practice tracing a target instead of flicking too much. As you notice, like try to reserve flicking for stuff like first shot engagements if you don't know where the enemy is, or if you're trying to do slide into a slide out of a corner or
yeah.
into a hallway. Only like prioritize tracing your target instead of flicking onto a target first. Like
Yeah.
another creator, Ill Physics, he does some funky stuff with hand cannons when he flicks off target and then onto target. But that's like that's because he's played M and K like most of his life.
Right.
But for now, prioritize tracing first instead of crazy flicks.
Okay, so something I noticed here that kind of reinforces my point of like that it looks like you're trying to play too fast. You are limited to the TTK of your charge time weapon. It's not like a chaperone or a sniper. You come in here and you see two people, and it's like you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy and then kill this guy, and you want it to happen quickly, but you're limited by the charge time of the weapon you're using. So you like start aiming at him, and then you slide, and like the box starts covering you.
Also, don't be afraid to hip fire. In that situation, you would have benefited from hip firing.
And you were aiming at him, but then you miss because you start to like move off target, and then when he runs at you, you kind of panic, and you actually flicked the other target there for just a second. Like you try to flick to this guy who's coming around behind, and you can't do that with a fusion rifle. That play's never going to really work out for you, and you get punished for it, unfortunately.
Zone B lost.
That was a good play. That was not a good play.
No.
All right. Hold on, let's back it up real quick. How far back should I go? Here. Okay, yeah. So first of all, you didn't cover yourself when crossing this gap. I'll let it slide. It looks like someone actually did try to take a sniper shot at you, but they missed. However, I'll let it slide in this instance because it was a good play to go over here. I just would have done it in a less projective way. You very clearly projected that this was your plan. But the play you made here, where you go in this corner, you cut off the entirety of their spawn just to get the guy out of this corner, that was actually really smart. That was a good play. That's a free, easy kill. Once you get here, though, you need to be careful as to what you do next, because now you're stuck in a corner. And so what I would have done is after you get that kill there, like, dodge across, because, like, they see you on radar, they hear your gun fire off, and they see the direction the bullets are coming from. They have placed your position exactly, and they're probably going to be pushing you through this doorway. So, if you dodge across, you have two options. They could come out the doorway and be looking the wrong way, in which you get another free kill, or they don't come out the doorway and they're waiting for you, and you can just escape, because they're expecting you to be on the other side. Maybe they even go in this corner again to try and shoot you or grenade you. You're very vulnerable here. So you only want to be here for a short moment. And you just trying to push even further, when you're weak here, that just wasn't a good call, knowing that how likely it was that they are aware that you're here and that you just finished a fight. And so that's what caused you to die here, when that actually could have been a really good play.
Taking that angle was kind of bad because of the just doing it to throw smoke.
Yeah.
Keep your smokes for close range engagements or when you actually mean to peek, which you really shouldn't because that's a 4-burst rifle and he will kill you.
It's not. Yeah, throwing the smoke was not the amount of mileage you get out of throwing a single smoke isn't worth the risk that you take from peeking. You could have had a sniper or a bow trained on you. Obviously, there was a pulse rifle there as well. You just got too weak, and the damage exchange is not the same from a smoke versus what you are risking, even going down almost instantly or taking a lot of damage here. And it looks like you're re-peeking weak right here as well, which is unideal.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Just don't peek a pulse rifle with an auto rifle like that.
Yeah. And also, once they have your position, these players really want to lane. That's like their thing. So you kind of gotta just give up a lot of times when you know that when you peek for a second, they get you half health, and you just hear them dumping their entire mag into an empty doorway. Just go fight someone else. It's not worth trying to peek and have a fair gunfight with them because they're just going to keep shooting at a wall until you put your head in front of their bullets. So just let them waste their time and their ammo and go either flank them and shoot them from the side, or find someone else to fight.
Can you back it up to where he shoots that fuse, where he's fighting through the doorway? It's like
right here
view from where he is. Yeah.
What? Here.
So, yeah, keep going a little bit. Yeah, let's have a fight for a second.
Right there.
Yeah, that I try to be in a more direct position to disengage than down the hall and around the corner.
Oh,
you couldn't slide to the right off of where you were standing because that opened up the angle from where you're getting shot from. But
yeah.
Also, it's very likely that he has teammates in the yard right over here fighting by heavy.
Yeah.
And if someone decided to walk down this metal grate, there would be no way you could get out after you dodged into the wall.
Yeah, and that's also a fair point. The route that you chose to run away, there's an open doorway here, and you see that they're on this platform. If you draw a line of sight, like, he's shooting right down here, and you dodge this way, and then you're like, once you're stuck here, like, you could have easily gotten shot in the back right here when you're disengaging, or if you jump. This is a line of sight that they have all the way back to where they were shooting you from. Which is not the most optimal way to disengage. You don't want to be running with your back towards the enemy.
So actually,
right
mechanically, you know how you hover your fingers over the WASD key? Your ring finger naturally is closer to your A key than your D key. So what most new keyboard players do is that if they make a mistake, they're usually leaning towards the left or moving towards the left a lot.
I know that. But right here is somewhere that you could have moved your mouse faster, but you turned like a controller player and it made you do this arc instead of doing a quick turn in place.
Yeah.
And it would have, like, you could have stayed by this wall, but as you turned away from it, you moved your mouse slowly because you weren't comfortable with the motion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, it looks like you dodged here, right? I would have dodged in that direction, or like dodged in that direction down those stairs, or even forward into that corner, but like dodging this backward and taking like this like kind of slow disengage that you did here. The thing about M&K too is that you can instantly be aiming in whichever direction on the clock you want to be. So you don't have to start moving. Like, you started moving before you were even looking where you were wanting to go, which is what controller players have to do a lot because they can't immediately look where they want to go. But you don't have to do that on M&K, and that's what that was a good point, Mad, that was actually a pretty risky disengage that we didn't even catch.
I got stuck on the land.
Yeah, again, it looks like there's lots of like trying to play fast going on. Like, you keep. It was hard for me even to track what you were really doing in this clip. Like,
Also,
here.
it looks like you don't even have your crouch binded, so do a lot more sliding, especially if you're trying to disengage
they might just not.
when you see enemies.
They might just not have that habit yet.
No.
But yeah, still lots of aim flicking, or sweeping, swiping, or whatever. And maybe indecision as well. I'd like to see you get in a one-on-one duel, like tracing aim duel, so I can see how that goes.
Not aiming at head level.
Yeah, it was close enough. It's an auto rifle. They have high aim assist cones.
Yeah.
You also kind of want to be aiming lower chin in case you get flinched as well, and combat recoil.
Yeah.
Okay, that was outside of your effective range, but I'm okay with that because it was a 3-on-1. You just get some damage in to help your teammates.
If you rewind it real quick, this is basically like rudimentary flicking, but you have to right now, since you're learning how to flick, you can play it like a little bit. You're doing a lot of like circle motions with your flicks instead of being like direct point A to point B. At this point, as you're learning, you need to tell yourself to draw like a physical line between where you are and where the enemy is. Of course, you won't get it right away because you could overshoot or undershoot, but so long as you're practicing and you're learning muscle memory, it'll eventually get to the point where you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see that swoop that you're talking about that he did there.
Zone B captured. You have zone advantage. 5 minutes remain. A strong start. Fight on.
That was a bit better of a flick.
It was more like aim sweeping that I'm seeing.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that was a decent play. Something important about aim sweeping is it is useful when there's more than 180 degrees worth of stuff going on in front of you, and you need to like look behind you for a second to keep tabs on like where your teammates are standing and stuff. Like if you're in scanning mode and you're looking, you know, that is something that some super high level players do. But like you don't have to be flicking your aim back and forth just to do it, you know. And I wouldn't focus on trying to incorporate that into your gameplay when you're just learning as well.
You should have used your dodge there if you felt like you were in danger.
Okay, that worked.
Pretty lucky mag grenade right there.
Yeah.
No ammo.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Again, like that's another symptom of trying to play too, you know, is pushing in with a gun that you don't have ammo. If you had taken the time to make sure that you had the ammo you needed and you were going into that engagement prepared, first of all, you wouldn't have gotten caught in the open staring at a golden gun, but you also wouldn't have then slid out and tried to fusion somebody with no ammo.
You captured Zone A. You have zone advantage.
Still seeing a lot of like that aim sweeping. And I'm saying this as someone who actually has swapped to M&K recently and knows what you're doing from my own perspective, you know.
Tapping the zone is key towards M&K
You captured
improvement.
Zone C. That's a power play. You took them.
Well, hey, someone's got to do it, right?
Finish them.
Acquiring the power play is key.
3 minutes. You're winning. Stay strong.
I don't think he used... Whoa, what's up?
Yeah, your teammates already messed up the spawn traffic.
Yeah, well, the
game's
game's a wash at this point anyway. It's not like they're gonna come back. Something I noticed, you didn't use your super at all this game, which definitely is something you should be doing if you're looking at.
If you're just practicing aiming, I don't see the problem with it.
Yeah, if you're like literally just here to practice aiming, but if you're like trying to learn how to play like you normally would, I would play like you normally would and use your super, you know. But if you're like just practicing aiming, I guess that's fine. The challenge on the hammers was unideal. You weren't in a team shot scenario, and he also gets healing from that sunspot. So way overcommit, slid way too far. You barely even like swap into your primary here, which isn't worth it. Like after you realize that you shoot him, he knows exactly where you are. You got to get the fuck out of there and hope this blast radius does not one-shot you. You know, not try to swap your weapon and have a primary duel against a super standing in a sunspot. But yeah, okay. There you go. Oh, and now you use your super. Congrats.
Zones controlled.
All right. Any final comments from the two of you?
Yeah.
I'll have some written comments I'll turn over to, but we're getting kind of wordy, so I'll try to, you know, put something.
Sure. Okay. Nugs.
You're good. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Moving on to here, we'll do Teddy next. This is Teddy Bear. He's actually in my clan. Super awesome guy. He also plays on controller. However, this is controller gameplay, and he's looking for some gameplay review. So let's see it. He's got double primary, pulse rifle, and SMG. Looks like on the best map in the game. We love it. Convergence. Make it full screen. Okay, hold on, let me turn the volume up a little. Nice, Desperado kill. Okay.
This is an old clip then?
Yeah. I think it was from right before that update.
Zone B captured. Zone advantage is yours.
Okay, so there is my first comment. I know how much you love your teammates, but it's not worth getting tunnel vision standing in the open while you're getting aggressed by the enemy team just to try and shoot their Axion. My primary directive here, when I see there's 2 and looks like also 3 people pushing you, you're weak, and your teammates are getting shot at, would not be to shoot that Axion bolt. Like, you see it's not tracking you, fucking leave your teammates to die, dog, and get out of there, because they're probably going to die anyway. And, like, shooting an Axion, you could just... Your teammate's already running away from it, you know? Like, if he lets it hit him, it's his own fault, you know? But what you do there, trying to...
help.
Yeah.
Kill him.
It only does 100 damage, like...
It's also more difficult because he's on controller, not mouse and keyboard.
Well,
right.
Also, if you stay alive, you can help more of your teammates rather than focus on someone who's not gonna die and then be a little too tunnel visioned.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there were other deaths after this.
Yeah. But yeah, if you could have stayed as like his role is a mid-map anchor in this. That's the job that he plays on a team, and you going down allows you to lose map control. So yeah, I would have retreated and like jumped back here for cover or something instead of like, you know, you're weak and getting shot from the side. Very unfortunate. Okay, so you see someone's there.
Probably should have pushed up a bit. I mean, you have bow tracer, so not too bad because you can tell when a sniper's going to peek, but maybe pushing a bit up so that you can make it into 2 burst territory would have been better.
Here I would have actually probably done the opposite. It's decent to lane here, but you see, there you see he goes behind this pillar, and boom, you see he's sniping you, right? And you get some bullets in, and so that's good. But right there, immediately, you see someone here. You cannot deal with a sniper and someone shooting you when you're in the open. You should be behind cover for this part, first of all. Because of situations like this. Well, he does have his dodge up. But because of situations like this is why you should be near cover. Because you're tunnel visioned on getting the sniper down, and you do have the advantage in this 1v1. A sniper's going to lose to a pulse rifle when the pulse rifle knows where the sniper's going to peek from 100% of the time. But even if you get him down, you're too far away from cover to survive any TTK that's going to happen from right here. You know, SMG, auto rifle, hand cannon. If you kill this guy, you will die to this other person. So there, and that's exactly what happened. You didn't even actually... That was good that you responded, but you responded too late and you were too far away. You know, so...
Yeah, try to keep the cover on your screen so you're, like, not looking at a giant open screen field, but, you know, a tree's taking up part of it so you can step behind it.
Yeah.
Right there. I like to ego strafe on people too, but it's just painful.
Yeah.
You're gonna die a lot.
Okay.
A good worked. Response to aggro.
Yeah.
Backtracking.
That was a nice 2-burst.
You weren't paying attention.
When did that radar first ping? Will you go back?
Let's see.
If you don't see anyone in front of you, your instinct is to look at the radar immediately.
Right. Okay, so... So, yeah, it just in general here, it seems like your radar awareness and corner... your spacing from the corner is a little bit off. A very important thing that you should be doing is spacing yourself from corners more than spacing yourself from the enemy. That's what good positioning is, actually. Is more positioning yourself with respect to the map than with respect to where you know the enemy's character model is, because they can always move. So right here, you know there's people down here, down this hallway, but they can move all the way up to this corner without you seeing them from your position right here. So if you're trying to peek this lane from this angle, you need to be further back. You can be further forward if you're peeking wider down this lane, so that way you can see where the enemies are going to be, you know. But in this position, you don't want to be peeking this direction from this close to the wall, because someone can push up here with you on a shotgun. And you got kind of lucky here, where like you happened to be swapping weapons at just the point when they were taking advantage of that, and you were able to... You happen to swap to your SMG and have a knife charge ready to gun this person down. But if they had done that just a second earlier, you would have gone down to this person's shotgun melee. And again, another thing that happened immediately afterwards is kind of the same thing. You're peeking this angle, which is far enough for you to use the weapon that you have, but you're forgetting that their whole enemy team is still back here in this hallway, in this corner. And this is the closest corner to you. So they can come around here at any point and just gun you down, you know, like with an SMG or like a chaperone or something. Because you also don't have any team presence back here as well. So there's nothing stopping them from flanking you either. Like this... Enemies get locked in position when they fight a teammate of yours. So, like, your teammates will lock enemies in position. But when you don't have line of sight on them yourself, and neither do any of your enemies, or any of your teammates have line of sight on them, they are free to move wherever they want. And that's why I think that, like, trying to post up here with a pulse rifle wasn't the right play. Because they were free to move all the way up to this corner, or, like they did, flank around behind you. And so, I would have chosen a different position to post up with a pulse rifle, where your back was more covered, as well as you were less likely to be shot from the side. So, yeah, is that getting to what you were talking about, Mad? With the radar ping?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. You can also, like... You can also use the sections of the radar to determine someone's position to the left and right,
Yeah.
around the corner.
Yeah, that is true.
Whenever someone moves from one section of your radar to another section, that is the exact line they are on at that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you know, like every time someone's radar position moves, you can pinpoint them exactly. So what I like to do is I like overlaying like a heat map of where I hear sounds from with where their possible position is on the radar, and I can track pretty accurately their exact position and their speed. Another thing you can do is you can sweep your radar from side to side or move slightly closer or further away to find someone's exact point. Or use Keen Scout if you're on Void, that works as well. All of those can give you a much more detailed view of your enemy's exact position than the radar read by itself will. Yeah, see, so yeah, that was a good kill, but you got pushed around because you had no teammates back there stopping them.
Zone C captured. That's a power play. You took
We played against this Holy Jesus guy at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Zone A lost.
Looks like this game might be a mercy, also, depending on how well you play your cards. Okay. So, I have another comment about this play in particular. Where is it? Here? Right here. This guy slides out with an overshield and an SMG, and you don't get a whole lot of damage in on him before he downs your teammate. You see he downs your teammate with an SMG. Pretty sure it's Shayura's Wrath, right? And you see him tracked behind the wall, pretty stationary and not pushing you, right? So that means two things. One, he's getting his health back, or two, he's proccing a damage buff. And you've done 60 damage to him, and he had an overshield. So you've done 20 damage to him. And he has an SMG within his SMG's effective range. I would not take this fight at all. He is going to push very aggressively and shove your shit in here. That is a turn and run time. He just downed like two of your teammates with ease, you know? This player is moving fast, he's good at the game, and he has an SMG with a damage buff or full health and an SMG, you know? One of the two. I would not be scoping here. That was a good disengage. Unfortunately, you dodged too far. I don't think you really have a lot of control over that. But it was good to disengage there. That was the perfect time to disengage. You dodged the wrong direction. He knows exactly, you know, you were playing right into his hands, and he just got to tap you once, and you're dead, you know. Good play from that player. He clearly knows what he's doing. But yeah, a little bit of a misplay or misread on your control over the situation. That was good. Good use of Foe Tracer. Yep, there you go. Really good use of your exotics here. Like your reaction speed to be a little bit faster in terms of identifying when there's a threat in your peripherals. I would have naded him from behind his shield instead of trying to push up and engage, because that corner is very susceptible to grenades, but it ended up working out. And same thing goes when you're sitting in there. I wouldn't stand there when they already know you're there, because you can get naded out very easily. You seem a little too comfortable using your pulse rifle from too close, in my opinion.
I love it.
Okay. So I have a comment to make about that. Yeah, it seems like you use your pulse rifle for too close, and you also stay ADS with it too long, in reference to when you were here on bridge. Right here, you're aiming down sights. Like, yeah, you have Desperado procced, but I wouldn't fall off a bridge while holding ADS.
Yeah.
That's just not a good play to make with a pulse rifle. And also, I honestly wouldn't have tried to engage this guy here with your pulse rifle either, because that's just way too close. But in reference to the play you've made here, this guy makes a misplay. He pushes up to somewhere he has no cover. You've got a teammate back here laning him. He's got to let you kill him with his SMG or let your teammate kill him. You get a kill here. You know there's at least 2 people here and 1 behind you. You've got 1 teammate, and you've cut off line of sight temporarily until they move up. Yeah, you're outnumbered here. There's at least 3 to 2, and they have just a flank on you already. You know, they have a flank from Waterfall. What I would have done here is take the fact that they know you're here, let them formulate a plan to push you while you're running away from this area. You know, cut, run away, get out of there, and like maybe just full retreat all the way back to spawn, because you are losing map control here. There's no way you're holding a map control when you're outnumbered and getting flanked. Pushing here just was not the right play. Yeah, you got shot from behind and from the front. Like, just pushing there wasn't the right play in the first place. I would have at least turned to respond to the flank, if not full disengage back to your spawn, instead of allowing them to take advantage of that flank.
Remain. A strong start. Fight on.
Also, this is not necessarily a great position to be standing in. I never stand on top of box, unless I have significant mid-map control, but you're kind of abandoned here by your teammates. They could take a flank to run away down here. You're weak or invulnerable. If your teammates weren't all here, they could have gone here. If they snuck through to Waterfall, you're vulnerable. If spawns flip, which it looks like it probably will, because Melee King 98 is already over on C, you can get shot from the back. You just have no cover. Like, yeah, you have great lanes, but you also have no cover. So I just wouldn't be taking this. I'd be pushing up with your teammates. You have a super, force the spawn flipped, even super, and then go take advantage of people who get spawn flipped, maybe a 7th column. But just standing here laning with a pulse rifle leaves you really very vulnerable. Yeah, see, your teammate just did with his Galahorn what you could have done with your golden gun. And now it looks like your other teammate is also doing with his golden gun what you could have done with yours. That was nice, that was nice. Nice, okay. Ugh.
Good support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is kind of a slow part of the game, it seems like. Oh, yep, there. That's... Okay, but that was kind of stupid.
Nothing you could have done there, not a dodge or anything could not have stopped that.
Well, you could have been standing in a different position. That's exactly why standing on top of box is not the right call. Like, well, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, I was exactly saying you got to watch out for someone pushing from behind you or from waterfall. Like that's like okay. Obviously, this person made a stupid play in terms of soloing you when you were that weak. He could have just fucking meleeed you. But regardless, your positioning is what left you susceptible to getting shot by him. Like, yeah, he shouldn't have wasted super on you, but yeah. That was stupid. I don't know why he solo noted you there. That was really stupid. He could have used it on the hammer, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's a perfect example as to why that's not a good position to stand. I like to have only one escape route where my teammates can shoot from my back visible, and then one lane that I'm trying to actually engage enemies from visible at a time. That's what I like to do. Cool. Yep. Decent, I guess. Not much there in that one. It just seemed like, what were his main issues there?
Radar awareness.
Yeah, that poor positioning, and then, yeah, it just seemed like your positioning was off. I want you to stand in places that are closer to cover and closer to escape routes as well. And maybe using the right weapon or gear in the right situation. Like that time where the Titan was right behind the shield, instead of pushing him with an SMG that close when he has a shotgun, just throw a nade back there to nade him out. And, you know, not using your pulse rifle too close. Yeah, and the radar reads as well, as Nugz and Mad were saying. Okay, cool. So there's that. Second to last one.
All around you.
This is Spydereyed. Spydereyed, he's
TDT.
Yeah, he's a TDT gamer. He's got a pulse on. I think he's using pulse sidearm. So he's probably playing a little bit closer to anchor.
Yeah, I didn't get my burst properly. Good job.
Is this the iron sharpens iron?
Double.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, first engagement wasn't. Yeah, I don't have any comments really on the first engagement.
No for run around.
0-1.
Just the ego peak down mid. Usually that's how most 1v1s start on this map.
Yeah, honestly. And you have a very fast TTK weapon, so you can kind of get away with it. I guess you could have stayed closer to cover if you were able to react in time fast enough to realize he had hit 2 crits on you. Because that gun does have to hit all 3 crits to kill you, but, you know, it is what it is.
Alright, that's a good sidearm.
What?
Okay, hold on, let's go full screen for this. So here, you get damaged, and you go rift behind this pillar here, right? And he just throws this smoke. You're not full health yet, right? And you just saw the smoke go off. So what people do when they know you're on a pillar is they nade one side and push the other. You don't want to take this challenge here. You want to stall for as long as possible, so that way you're in a rift and have full health, and you just have an advantage. So what I would do is, yeah, I would have rotated, honestly, into the smoke, which wouldn't deal damage to you, so that you could get, not, like, fully into the smoke, but closer towards the smoke, so you can get more health back, knowing he's going to push you right here with your sidearm, instead of actually strafing out of your rift entirely. Like, you just strafed completely out of your rift, and then she just has a massive advantage here going in on you where you're already weak, and you're not even close to cover anymore, you know? And, you actually could have won that. You seemed like be hitting more shots at first than him, but still.
That's a good sidearm.
This is a good setup. You're just playing so aggressive to me. I'm like,
That's outside of the effective range of your weapon.
You have way more range than me there. Holy.
Okay, there. Yeah. Well, actually, you're both using sidearms, so I would have, yeah, pushed up a little bit closer to be within the effective range of your sidearm, or had your pulse rifle out. You're kind of in the open here. You know, you kind of let him corner you. But yeah, like, this isn't really a great position to be standing. You're in the open. If he had just decided to just push you with your sidearm, you'd have nowhere to go, and he has somewhere he can disengage. He's got cover right here. So yeah, I would have stayed closer to the corner, or like fully rotated out. Especially once you jump back here.
You have more range than me there.
And you pull out your pulse rifle, you're even more in the open here. Like, you have absolutely nowhere to go, and he has this whole thing to use for cover that he can use to his advantage. I would have stayed on stairs and, like, try to figure out and decide what he's doing. You know, you want to break up the engagement. You don't want to just let him push you with the sidearm, and you're in the open. There's absolutely nowhere you can go when you're in this spawn. So, yeah, and, like, your aim isn't
way
great.
More range than me there. Holy fuck, okay.
Either way, he does have the advantage there with that weapon.
No, mitt mina idé, nej.
Oh, okay. I need to move quicker.
Yeah, it seems like you keep putting yourself in bad positions. Like, back on tree is not where you want to be when you're trying to lane someone with a pulse rifle who's aping you with a sidearm. You want to be somewhere... there we go. See, that was a good play. That was a good example of, like, what you should be doing in a, fighting someone so aggressive with a sidearm. But, like, back on tree, you don't want to be, like, taking engagements where you're so out in the open and so far from cover, you know? You want to, honestly, what you need to do when someone's being that aggressive with a sidearm is beat them in a sidearm duel, and then you can swap back to your passive playstyle with your pulse rifle, because then you have map control. You can't fight someone that aggressive with a pulse rifle if you don't already have map control in a good position to fight from. They're just going to run your shit like they did, you know? So that was a good play that you made right there. Oh, so you choked the 2 burst. You actually got a full burst off on him before he shot you. Okay, there you go. Wait a second there. Again, you made the correct play in this disengage. That was actually very good disengage. When you realize he hit 2 shots on you, and this is a good position to be in because he's weak and he'd have to push you, and you can pull your sidearm out and sidearm melee him. But once you get here, you back up from your cover completely into the open again, you know? And like, okay, there you go. Yeah, you moved back up, but still, like, that pushback completely into the open leaves you extremely vulnerable. Great grenade though, great use of your cover. That corner grenade was really good. Maximizes the damage to the enemy while minimizing the self damage you take from it. But I would have put your rift in a position you would have actually fought from, so you could take advantage of the healing during the duel.
AFK, never mind.
Yep.
I was like, I got you in my sight and I didn't see you moving.
But yeah, now you have mid-map control with your pulse rifle. You can try and lock down mid-map again against him trying to be so aggressive.
And no matter, fine. I can manage.
Wait for him to...
Oh fuck, that's his slow.
Alright, so you heard a sound bite. You know he's on AFK. I would not have committed to... Okay.
Peace of mind?
Alright, I don't know. What do you guys think about this play here? I want to hear your thoughts.
It's definitely a play.
Yeah?
For sure.
It was certainly brave to stand there and continue to finish consuming your grenade so that... Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a weird choice. You choose to spend more health to get a little bit more than he took from you, and then the pressure's on.
Right.
You're not in a great spot.
Okay, so for two things, first of all, you hear him go invis, and you know where he is when he goes invis based on the sound cue. He goes invis right there. Boom. You hear it? He's right there. He's gonna push you from here or from mid. There's the only two places he can get to from here, and he knows where you are on radar, right? So if you want to proc your grenade, do it from an area where he can't immediately lane you from the two areas he can go to. Do it from this corner, right? So that he has to sweep wide to get an angle on you, or sweep all the way out on the B to get an angle from you from here. Don't pop your grenade in the open, and definitely don't pop your grenade while he's shooting you, because it's just not worth it. Just cancel the animation and get to cover, you know. Second, you proc your grenade, using your grenade to proc an Arc Soul, and then immediately use your Rift to proc an Arc Soul. Another reason why you shouldn't have used your grenade there, or have done it much more premeditatively to where you don't need to use your Rift. And then second, I would not have used your Rift here in this position. On this side of the box, yeah, he was shooting you from down lane here. He can push you from two directions. From this way, onto Zone B platform, or what he did, which was go back this way. And you want to place your Rift somewhere because it has such a long animation that you're going to be safe until the animation finishes. So I would have either placed the Rift like here, right underneath this piece of cover, in that corner back there, even on the edge of this corner of the box, because then you'd have cover from this and from the box, or pushed all the way through to archway and placed your Rift around this corner. But as it is, you were stuck in Rift animation, where the only cover you had was if they pushed you from Zone B. That's essentially a coin flip. You're banking on the fact that they're going to push you from Zone B instead of from where they already were, 50-50, so that you could place your Rift safely, and you just lost the coin flip. And I would always take like the guaranteed safety over the coin flip. So yeah, those are my three problems with your decision making in this play.
Peace of mind?
And you're complaining about peace of mind using no time, which is funny.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a battle roam too, mate.
Depending on how
That's
much it
borderline
flinches
cheating!
by, it could be.
I think he's making fun of it.
I've seen a lot
okay.
more controller players
Right.
talk about it flinching more than no time, because the thing with no time is that you have to stay a little bit more anchored than like a peace of mind user. You're
Yeah,
able to
peace
strafe
of mind
and
can
stuff.
definitely be more aggressive, just by the nature of it being rapid fire, more reactive.
And as much as I complain that like controller players can handle flinch more, peace of mind does out flinch controller players, which is why everybody hates that gun.
Here you're kind of mismatching your strafes with your weapon. I don't know
That's
if you
borderline
have the
cheating.
RPM, but you're peak shotting here. Except you're peaking when you don't, when you're peaking when you're in fire animation cooldown, and you're unpeaking when you're firing. You put a whole burst into the wall there, and so you just got to get better with timing that correctly with your peak shots.
I would say that probably comes from having like full comfort control over your character, right? Like if you feel like you can put his feet wherever, you'll be good. And then you have to think about, there's two ways to strafe. You can strafe to make the enemy miss, or you can strafe to make sure you hit your target. Otherwise, you don't have a reason to be moving, right?
Yeah.
So which one were you trying to do, and why did it fail?
Yeah.
I think you were trying to shoot him, but strafing to make him miss.
Yeah. And what that ended up in is, instead of like stepping out of cover just to get a burst off and stepping back in, you were like out of cover, strafing back and forth, and then you happened to strafe into a wall during the one time your gun was actually available to fire, losing a full, like, 108 damage potential. So... Oh, and another retreat. I would not try to fight from tree with a pulse rifle versus someone who's playing that aggressive.
Oh my lord,
you know,
right now
because you're just... There's nowhere for you to go on tree. You can't rotate to a different part of the map once you're on tree. You are in a corner, you know? I would have rotated to here, because then at least if they are aggressive on you, you don't have to run around a tree a whole bunch and hope that they don't just shoot you. You can just rotate through tunnel and either go through toilet bowl or through the other spawn. You know, this is not a good place to fight from. You don't want to be you don't want to let your shit get shoved in all the way in the back of the map when you're fighting, when you have such a laney pulse rifle, you know. So
I see why people are maining this thing.
Yeah, I know. I just doesn't feel good to me. Just doesn't.
Oh. Yeah, and now you're just letting him take advantage of you spawning up.
You were just thinking about what you were saying instead of what you were playing.
Yeah. Like, you shouldn't keep pushing the same lane here. Like, you don't... I know that's the most popular lane, but at this point, I would have been, like, engaging other options, seeing what it would be like if I went through Portal, yeah, that's the first thing I would do, is go through Portal, maybe jump up on this box and lane down there to see if he's trying to take advantage of you spawning. Maybe even just go to the other side of this lane and still challenge mid. But just pushing up the same ramp, this is like, I think the 4th time you've done it this match, he knows that's what you're going to be doing, and he can just gun you down. You don't want to just put yourself right in his hands like that.
Basically, yeah.
I can't take with this.
Pretty
Okay.
not really good aim right there.
Yeah.
Is Spider Eye M&K or controller?
I think he's M&K.
I could, yeah.
Fuck, that's some luck.
Sidearms are difficult to use on M&K. Oh, see, you actually...
Wow.
Oh, well, he's
I
not
have
got
no
the
idea,
greatest
I'm
connection. But you did have him there. You just need to be... Maybe you're trying to full auto your no time, but you caught him with his pants down in the open with no time and an arc soul ready. You absolutely should have taken the time to just get like a full body shot burst in on him there, and he would have gone down instead of getting one headshot in and leaving him like weak like that.
If you look at the last section you played in a burst, you can see that you are
That's some
like
luck.
you're stepping away from your target and you're trying to move your reticle to him, kind of. You're this is an example of you fighting your goal with your strafe.
Yeah.
You're moving away from your target, and then you're having to flick further to him, and you're overcorrecting because at that point you've switched directions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't even notice that, man. That you're strafing away from him, and then you need to flick your aim back onto him. And instead of like flicking there and staying there, it looks like you're flicking there and back. You know, it's like instead of like moving your mouse, you're doing like that, you know, flicking back and then back to where you were. And that's why you're only getting like one bullet out of the burst to land. So yeah, that's actually a really good point there, man. But you absolutely should have won this fight, and I understand he's a little laggy, like whatever the fuck just happened there. But you still could have won that for sure, for sure.
5 minutes remaining.
Lag is still very bad.
Yep.
Lag? Question mark? I didn't see any lag.
Oh, you didn't see it? Do you want me to refund? No, that's fine. Just trust me, the guy is lagging. Oh, unfortunately,
Why did the
miss.
melee hit? That was... Never mind.
I don't. It didn't hit. I don't know why.
Oh, see, that was perfect. That's exactly what I would have wanted you to do in the previous situation where I said you put a whole burst in the wall. That's the kind of strafing in and out of cover that you should be doing with no time. That was actually perfect.
I don't. It didn't hit. I don't know why.
Perfect example. You're using your cover well, which is good. You're like right next to cover. You get 2 shots in, and then you peek, you unpeek just long enough for the burst delay to be done. Peek back out, land a full headshot burst. That's great. That's great.
Alright, now you got the 2 worst.
That was actually a 3 burst. 1 burst went into the wall except for 1 bullet.
Oh.
Well, 1 burst you just missed at the beginning, but... Oh,
That
there
was
you go,
again
and
a
you did
3
it again.
burst.
Yeah.
I'm very consistent with the 3 bursts. Just 2 bursts is a bit too long. It's too... I don't know. Maybe more practice is required.
Maybe.
Yeah, as you can see, 2 bursts are not gonna help me.
Yeah. Yeah, so there you should have done it again, honestly. Well, I wouldn't have pushed all the way up to Cubby with the weapon and engagement space you were in. I would have stayed back at the lane you were on. But if you had properly timed your peak shot and unpeaked between the first and second burst, you would have Probably out TTK'd him there.
Yeah.
Good. Good job. That was good, actually.
That was a very high one. Good one. You need to teach me about those spike grenades.
I don't know, I literally just get them at any corner, and that's it.
Just
That's
throw
good.
it down the corners. Okay.
I'd like to see your reaction speed be a little bit
I got
faster.
some
He seems to be
fastballs on
within
those.
your line of sight for a little
I don't
bit longer
have
than I'd
fastball,
want
I'm
before
doing
you start
alright.
shooting.
No, for me they seem just to land in a very awkward orientation.
But you're doing good now. Yeah, there again, you hovered over his head. I even saw you trace him before you shot. Like, I saw your reticle follow his head in his strafe before you even shot.
Again,
So-
I think this is probably you talking more than playing. Like this
Mhm.
is a practice round, not a performance round, not a real
Mhm.
1v1. So y'all are talking and chatting, shoot the shit, and I like to do this too. But I also have to accept and say, say that like this is distracting me. I'm playing worse
Right.
because of this conversation
Mhm.
frequently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, good point there, actually. Let's see. Let's see it. What are we looking at?
Three minutes. You're in second.
That sidearm is ooh.
They've almost
Alright,
won.
well, you got a trade there. It seems like his comfortability with that sidearm's just a lot more than your. He's just a lot more comfortable with it than yours. But you are again letting him kind of push you too much. Right here, he gets you weak, and you just as soon as you break line of sight, you just place a rift fully in the open here. He's got you weak, and he's very aggressive. He's gonna push you, and you're gonna be stuck in rift animation. I would have gone fully around this corner into this cubby where you are slightly blocked from this way, or at least been closer to the wall, so you just have that little bit of extra time to get your health back and finish your rift animation and get ready for the fight before he pushes you, rather than right here, like. Where is he? Boom. Like, right there, he's all immediately able to shoot you, and you've only gotten your health to, like, he landed a shot or two. You've only gotten your health to there. You didn't even have the right weapon out yet. If you had slid up before you placed your rift, he would have had to, like, land and move to the side before he would have been able to shoot you, and you would have been fully set up by then and had the advantage in that gunfight. So, like, that was kind of like a knee-jerk reaction that I don't like how knee-jerky it needed to be, or it was when it didn't need to be. You know, you had already broken line of sight. Get into a good position before you place your rift down.
Yeah.
Pulled a trade out of that, though, which is good. Okay, there. So I actually have something to comment about this as well. It seems like you understand that he can come from two different directions. Like, he can either come from here, or he can come from here, right? But when you're swapping between them to try and clear those two angles, you go from the position it would be advantageous to be in to the one it wouldn't be. You know, like, there's two positions you can stand in. One's better for laning one direction, and one's better for laning the other. You keep swapping from the good one to the worse one when you're trying to aim in one direction. So, like, for example, when you're right here, and you turn to lane on him here, right? And you're standing here, you're using this cover, or whatever, yeah, you're standing, like, way in the open using this cover when you're not even fighting him from here, you know? And then when you turn to fight him from here, you leave your whole open side here, and you're not even using cover. He could just push up and, you know, he's in sidearm range and just gun you down. You have no line of sight break to take advantage of. You should have been standing here when you're trying to lane this way, and then be standing here on this, like, little archway when you're trying to fight him from here. And that's exactly what happens. You're, like, standing back here, which would be decent place to stand if he was fighting from the other way, but you're trying to pulse rifle him from like I don't know, 12 meters away, you know, when he's pushing up with a sidearm. He does a good job of using the cover available to him, and he just like bursts you down. So
yeah, not really a
like,
good matchup per se.
The positions you were standing in were good, but not for the area, the directions you were aiming at, you know. So sorry, what were you saying, Nugs?
I said it's not really a good matchup.
Yeah, just in general, not really a good matchup. Again, he was in your line of sight just a little bit longer than I would have wanted him to be.
Trick flips.
Those sidearms are ridiculous.
They are.
You gotta trade. But again, yeah, you're just pushing the same exact spot again. If you had gone a different way, and he was aiming down there, hard scoping, you could have caught him off guard and gotten a free kill. Instead of just, yeah, again, pushing exactly. Yeah.
It's just been spawn traps after spawn traps. You can't really...
And the way you beat someone who's spawn trapping you on a map like this is to do something different. Because they're going to be so confident that you're going to do the same thing over and over again that if you do something different, you could just shoot them while they're not even paying attention. And you just kind of did exactly what he thought what you were going to do. Cool. All right. Awesome. All right. Last one. Almost done. All right. So this is, I don't know, some loser. Nuglus. Who's actually in my clan, trying to learn how to play beta, which is a very adaptive playstyle.
It smells a lot.
Snipe SMG, yeah, the game of comp, and he wants to know what he did wrong. So we're gonna be super hard on him, okay? Got that, Matt?
Because he did not do
okay,
good. He sucked.
We're gonna be super hard on him, okay? And here we are on Widow's Court.
Oh.
Got that nice royalty-free music.
It's not royalty free. He was listening to something that was recommended to by a friend and did not end up liking it after he finished listening to the album.
Damn.
It was very mid.
Oh, okay.
I tried Mantle failed.
Mantle failed. Okay, so first off, I personally wouldn't have tried to go for that snipe right there. Or I never try to go for that opening snipe. Because one, you have teammates that are going to try and go for it. Let them do their thing. And two, if you go push upstairs immediately up here, a lot of times you can hard scope and get one of the people that are aiming on trucks, you know? So I prefer doing that, or at least pushing forward, to maybe this area or this corner, and taking advantage of them again, trying to hard scope your teammates there. There's no real reason to have more than one teammate trying to snipe down that lane. You're just both sniping from the same exact spot. You might as well do something different, especially on a beta loadout where you're trying to be, you know, adaptive, and your whole job is to do whatever role isn't currently being filled, you know. So, there you go. You gotta take off of that. That's decent.
Bad challenge.
Yeah, bad challenge from that range. You full strafed across.
I thought he had a sniper on, so I just wanted to flinch.
He was pretty far away. We roll that back? I'm just trying to see how far away the enemy was down the...
It was essentially cross map for SMG.
I think he hit damage floor at that point.
I'm also surprised that... Yeah, play it.
Right there.
I want to see how fast he kills from there with a hawk move.
Well, they've got teammates here.
I am already weak because there's
the third person all the way on the right where your mouse is actually difficult to see.
Yeah. Well, what I would have done is check radar. Instead of like full aiming down sight, strafing into this, you know your teammate just went down to a hand cannon from up here. I wouldn't think that they were all the way back there. I would think they're on stairs, probably. So I would have like played passive, try to bait them into pushing me, check radar to see exactly where they are, before trying to take this challenge.
Even if he was using a sniper rifle, we know that flinch in this game is not functioning in the way that we all think it should.
Yeah.
So he absolutely wouldn't have flinched off of you. Yeah. If his shit was on your head, then you tickling him with SMG from that far wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, so I would have probably been further back from this edge, which would, 1, cut off his line of sight, and 2, make it so that the people coming up here with hand cannons were still within your effective range of your SMG. You would have gotten... That was a decent... I mean, you got some decent tags off that nade, but...
Not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why my recording didn't record the 2 games that I did good in, and this was like after several hours of playing.
Oh, unfortunate.
Which I don't like.
It was a little bit flicky there. You were trying to, like, flick to multiple targets at once.
I was seeing which one I should kill. Yeah.
You had nothing to engage at that range. I wouldn't have tried to just hop. I don't know what you were trying to accomplish there. But yeah, after you'd placed
sniper,
you were out of sniper ammo at that point, though. Right here, I think. Yeah, you had hopped out of ammo, and then you just hopped. I'm not sure what that, but I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. What was I doing?
Should have saved your shield to pull power. What you could do that's actually really good there is, instead of placing it right here, you can slide across to, like, deep in the corner of this thing. Which
I was using the shield for 3-peeking.
Sure, but 3-peeking isn't as useful when you don't have anything to shoot them back from that range as securing power for your team. So what you could have done is slide deep into this corner, which cuts off most of their line of sights, except for the latest, like the fur. They have to be strafed all the way out to the side to have line of sight on you, and then you can pop up the shield from there, and then that blocks off everywhere you need to go to grab power and then escape as well. Whether you slide down through doorway or back down through stairs. So that would have been a more useful application of the shield you had. It was a good job taking advantage of the loser trying to push you with a hand cannon.
That's all I can do. I've been thinking here that I need to be with a teammate. I don't know why I keep jumping the wall for no reason, by the way.
Yeah. That's right where I look, and
I've been out of it.
You can get away with it the first time you do it if the people you're fighting aren't good enough to flick and just dumpster on you. Those are only really high skilled players can usually do that, but definitely don't do it again, because then they're gonna also be prepared to do it. You know, the more you do it, the more likely it is they'll actually punish you for it.
I'm getting teamed right now, and I can't really do anything.
No, this is fine. This is fine. You're only down by a life. You're just, eating up their abilities and being a presence on their radar. That's totally fine to do for some time. That's actually a pretty good push there as well.
Yeah.
to
Trying push.
Oh, you just got triple peeked there. I know you didn't have comms with your teammates there, but the correct play would have been to disengage from there and rotate out to the side, get first advantage on the zone.
Okay.
But yeah, it's always possible you could try and make that play and your teammates would pick up and realize that you've done that and move with you. But just that engagement space with that team wasn't the right call.
I think your loadout kind of forces you to play in a way that's not comfortable to you right now. Right? Like, after you shoot 2 bullets, you're stuck in your SMG on Widow's Court. So you have to move a lot.
Yeah.
If your team doesn't want to move with you, then
Yeah.
Alright, opening pick. Damn. Okay, so that's just a poor positioning. On this map, there's very, very precise places you need to stand on when you're trying to snipe. So, like, what you need to do is you need to either be, like, up against this wall, sniping that lane, so that way this wall covers you, or you need to be back here from there, sniping that lane. I don't like sniping this lane because it's the most popular. Again, most people already have that covered. Might as well get a new lane. You could have gotten there way before them, actually, if you had gone up here, but you just weren't far forward enough, If you had just moved a little bit... What?
Go ahead.
Oh, if you had just moved up a little bit further, what you would have seen is that, or a good judge of how far forward you've moved, or if you've moved far forward enough, is if this wall is covering this stair line right there, that means that your side is covered, And also you'll have line of sight up there where the DMT guy person is. That's a good indicator with your scoped in state of if you're standing in the right position. And you just left yourself open to too many things.
That's nice.
Where the wall is broken, right there where you fell and where you jump over, if you crouch and put your face into the rock, then it cuts off the people from above, and you can shoot that left lane with some weird angles.
Yeah, that's true.
I just try to be weird sometimes.
Yeah. Oh.
Whew. I don't know how that did. All three of them were there. I thought my teammates would back me up.
Well, either way, that you had no cover to push out there. Like, it wasn't a bad ego challenge if you had, like, fully committed, but you were still doing 14s to the body, so that means you're outside of your effective range with that archetype. And then you're just in the open. You have nothing to do. Even if there wasn't all three of them and it was a 2v2, you still would have been the one to go down. Even if you won the 2v2, you would have been the one to go down on your team.
And I think that, like, he was shooting with you and he's getting shot at now. I think the third teammate's not with you.
Yeah,
playing like a beta mid roll, you either flexed into a front line or forgot your role here.
Yeah.
And your teammates failed you. To be fair.
The thing that's really hard for a beta is that you need to cover both of your teammates at once. So if they got their fucking hand up their ass doing nothing, like, and they're on complete different sides of the map, you can't do that. Like, you can't cover both of them at once. So it's kind of a lot of times more advantageous to drop back to the teammate that's playing more passive, let the one that's over aggressive get punished, and then they'll spawn up and you'll all be together, and then you can start playing together. Because either way, they're both making a misplay, and one of them does deserve to be punished. It's better to have the over aggressive one get punished rather than both you and the over aggressive one get punished. Because either way, whichever one's closer to the enemy when your team split up is the one that's going to fail.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the best call, is lose one life to an over-aggressive teammate rather than lose their life and your life, and maybe also give them round flow. Like, if they have a pacing advantage, they can then, like, collapse on your last teammate, and then now there's only two of you because he's knocked. Game's over, right? So
yeah.
That's good. Your teammate got a pick. See, pulled heavy.
I got flinched off the
target. You did get flinched. You're also completely separated from your teammate here. It's a 3v2. You haven't taken a fight with your teammate in the entire second half of that round.
No.
You let them both go down, which was unfortunate. Yeah, and it looks like what I said was going to happen is exactly what happened when deciding which teammate you actually decide to fight with.
I don't know how I'm supposed to keep Pew with that. He just peek shot at me.
Yeah, unfortunate.
The enemy leads. Catch up.
Alright, let's see how you open this round.
I think I just keep peeking the same angle.
No, this is a different angle, which is good. Get a different angle this time. Teammate goes down, unfortunately, which is why I don't like peeking that angle. Got 2 body shots on them. No abilities to cool down though, and your teammate spawned up. It was a good, yep, good play to rotate back towards them.
I jumped because that cold snap.
Yeah. Well, the cold snap actually didn't track you and had already gone away at that point. So this play here, where you get some damage on him, realize that you're outnumbered. What I would have done, you get fucked by that trip mine either way. But what I would have done, assuming that trip mine didn't get placed, is ego slide out right here and challenge them because they're shooting your teammate at that point. Trip mine, they win automatically. That's not really your fault. There's not actually anywhere you could have gone or any play you could have made to have not gone down to that trip mine.
Matchmaking
so
yeah. Stupid.
That's a good pick. There's one up on balcony. Who you should be challenging. Yep, there you go. You tried. Almost got him.
That was really close on target too.
Yeah. I would be rotating to power and just letting your teammate be an idiot. Or at least maybe he'll get a side angle. But yeah, I would have tried to challenge power. You just gave it to them there. You had a teammate back there on planter still covering you. And it looked like you had a teammate that was trying to rotate to this area. You could have pretty easily pushed power and at least checked out the situation and see whether it was possible you could steal it from them or not. Because you don't know where their exact positions were on the radar, and power is very important to pull in comp every round. There you go, that was a good aggro swap with your teammate. And get the... Oh. Okay, unfortunate you got froze, but it ended up working out.
I don't know why he's shooting at me.
I don't know either. He's just being a dork. Fucking trip mines, bro. That's so dumb.
They're very dumb, yeah.
They like do as much damage as scatters, but in an area twice as wide. Okay, cool. Cool, so let's see. Okay, yeah, this is actually also a good position to fight from. That's a less common one. That lane from there, we're using those stairways to. You strafed a little bit too far in the open, but oh, you got a body. Nice, push up on that stairway. That's good there. Oh, you lost a little bit of pacing advantage when you stopped there. Yeah, you let them know that you're doing that. The one advantage you had is that their teammate just went down and they think you're back there, right?
Yeah.
And so if you push immediately, they're not expecting that, and they're going to be out of position, like trying to reload or be like, oh, well, we'll, you know, just peek shot, blah, blah, blah. And you just shove their shit in suddenly. But when you push up there and you let them know you're there, that's when you need to challenge immediately. And if you disengage, then you disengage, you know, because then they're like, oh shit, there's someone here, and they're going to be ready for you. And especially placing that shield, that's like even more like, oh, hi, I'm here, and also stuck in animation. And that just gives them even more time to be prepared for whatever play you were planning on making.
I didn't have any special.
So.
You're out of life. Fight on just the same.
Oh. Hit your shots, bruv.
Yeah, yeah.
Power's up. You keep ignoring it. You super need to be on top of power. What?
It was
Yeah.
that shield should have hit. It would have caused them to be volatile.
I would have been a little bit more aggressive in that situation and actually made something out of the damage buff in that bubble.
You're probably gonna play this to time unless I get a pick. And I can't even get a pick because they're just aimbotting me. That guy with the scout is very fucking annoying. I was complaining because he was using a 180 scout and his other team was using a Mida.
You gotta be a little bit more precise with your picks. You only needed a body shot there. You had weapons of light.
I can't do anything.
And also that close, I wouldn't be aiming gun sights with an SMG.
Their range, my SMG
Especially when you have a damage buff.
DPS and DMT. And
No need, really.
At the same time.
Instead of weapon swapping.
Yeah, like this is one of those maps that I actually don't use beta on. I don't play beta on this map.
That's all he does.
Because your SMG is just so limiting, and once you and the sniper lanes are so obvious that once you run out of sniper ammo, you can't take like any fights, and even when you are sniping, it's so obvious where you're sniping from, you know, that you can't even really get.
Why wouldn't he? My computer's dying for some reason.
What right now? Or in the video?
And the video.
Wise.
You see, I went down to like 2 times.
That guy just
He got his health back for some reason. I don't know. I still don't understand how.
Yeah, that was just kind of like an
I
unfortunate
got
round.
mine.
They had a really good golden gun at the start, and you weren't able to properly regroup with your teammates. I would have
Yeah,
continued rotating out instead of trying to defend that
Alright,
position,
this is a fail.
or defended it from a more like secure location.
Try on like ISO or something.
You know, with less pieces of junk on the ground to give you in-air inaccuracy and less places for them to push you from. But yeah, overall, so like,
I wonder if we could go back through here and see when you gave up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Might be beneficial for you to do. I don't think that's
I will
necessary to harp on.
try beta on a warlock with Ikdash or like.
Sure. Yeah. I mean that would be good. But yeah, it seemed like your primary problem was that you were trying to take 1v1s as a beta in a 3v3 environment. That's going to result with you taking 3v1s. So you need to be playing off of your teammates. You need to be aggro swapping with them. You need to be laning behind them when they're being aggressive. You know, stick to one of them. Try to get them to group up if you can. But like going off by yourself and just assuming they'll have it handled only works when I do it, because one, I'm always in a voice call with them, so they're communicating and we know we're doing a coordinated flank, which you can't do in solo queue. And two, because I just have faster movement than you, I can get back to them fast enough if they happen to need me, you know? But like when I'm solo queuing, I'm right on my teammate's ass, you know? I might use blink to get a quick angle on someone, but I'm right near them all the time. I'm never really like doing those long in terms of distance, but also duration flanks like that, you know, where I'm just off on my own, playing my own side of the map, you know? So, yeah. So that is, that's my take on you playing beta there. Yeah, I don't know. Not bad. Cool. All right, awesome. So that is what, like almost 2 hours? Lol. Sorry it took so long. But yeah, so that's I guess the Goofy Goober gameplay review. Okay, so I'm gonna post this to YouTube and I'm gonna timestamp it for all the people so they can go back and look at it whenever you want. Do either of you guys want to shout out your Twitch real quick?
No.
No?
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Okay. Well, whatever.
We'll be around.
Alrighty. I have to go eat dinner.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. You don't have a Discord.
The Goofy Goobers Discord, idiot.
The Goofy Goop. Yeah, join my Discord, and I'll eventually get around to doing a gameplay review if you submit it. This was... Oh, yeah, so sorry this one took so long. I actually fucking recorded it, and then the game... The recording software didn't record, so I had to re-record it. So... And thanks, Mad and Nugz, for giving me someone to talk to while doing it, because I can't do them by myself. So thank you guys. Yeah, awesome. Cool. And I will hit you up in the future. I should be on, actually live. I should be live later today as well, after I get done with some stuff. So I'll catch y'all then.
Yeah. That
Bye-bye.
was my...
What?
I was just trying to make sure you were doing recording, man. That was my first time doing this, so I definitely don't want to step on your feet. I'm sure if we do this more, we'll, find a